Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so excited to be back with you and to practice some more of our mindful mornings and our strategies to help improve our upstairs brain thinking so that we can make good choices. So, this morning, I want us to practice something, okay? I want us to practice a strategy that's going to help us focus to build our upstairs brain. Because remember, our upstairs brain is what helps us make really good choices and learn lots of new things while we're at school, because we all want to learn lots of new things, don't we? It's so fun. And it helps us to do that when we practice. And so today we're going to practice some more strategies for our upstairs brain. But first, do you remember what we also call our upstairs brain? I'll give you a hint. It sits in trees sometimes and it's in the sky. That's right, it's our wise owl. Because our wise owl helps us make good decisions and think about what we are doing. And what do we call our downstairs brain, where we feel all our emotions? We call it the barking dog, right? Because dogs, when they see something that they are not sure about, they bark and they warn us, right? Of things that could be bad. Now, do they know they're bad? No, but they bark anyways and they warn us. So that's what our downstairs brain does. It automatically feels things. So in order to keep our downstairs brain, where it needs to be, we got to practice our upstairs brain to make it strong and make it wise, keep that owl wise so it can help us make good decisions. Okay, so we're going to practice something. Are you ready? Okay, you have to be very quiet. Can you be very quiet? Can you be very quiet? Very good. So I need you to be very quiet so that you can listen. Can you do that? Awesome. So we're going to practice in a minute using our ears. And our ears are part of our five senses. Do you remember what your five senses are? You have ears and they help you what? Hear. Very good. You have a nose and your nose helps you to smell those yummy smells. Very good. You have your eyeballs and they're helping you see me right now. You have your mouth, which is my favorite, and it helps you taste all the yummy foods that we have. And then you have touch that helps you feel things on the outside. So today we're going to practice using one of those five senses, and we are going to practice using our ears, hearing. That's why you have to be quiet. Okay, so right now, when I say three, I'm going to count to three, and when I say three, I want you guys to practice being as quiet as you can, and I want you to close your eyes like Miss Anderson's doing, and I want you to listen to just what you hear. You're only thinking about things you can hear, nothing else. So so no one's talking, we're being our very quietest, and we're going to close our eyes and think about what we hear. Can you do that with me? 1, 2, 3. All right, boys and girls, you can open your eyes. And you did such a good job. So what are some sounds that you heard? You might hear the air running. You might have heard someone walking down the hall. Maybe you heard someone talking in the hallway. There's all kinds of different sounds that you heard. But here's the tricky part. Do you think if you were busy eating like normal and you were busy doing your work in class that you would have heard all those things that we just heard right now? No, probably not. We only heard them because we were really, really focusing with our ears, right? We were really quiet. We weren't opening our eyes. We were only thinking about what we could hear. So that way we heard those things, right? We were making our brain think very hard about what we were hearing. And I'm going to tell you something. That is called being mindful. Can you say mindful with me? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Mindful. Very good. Okay, so when we are mindful, we are thinking before we make decisions and before we act. So we are thinking about what we are doing. So we can either choose to be mindful or unmindful. And unmindful means we're letting that downstairs brain make decisions. We're reacting and we're not thinking before we make a decision. So, mindful means that we are thinking before we make a decision. We're thinking about what we're doing. Okay? So, we can practice lots of things to help us be mindful, just like a while ago when we were really focusing on what we heard. We were practicing being mindful. Okay? So, when you are mindful and you're thinking before you act, you're probably gonna make good decisions and you're gonna use that upstairs brain to help you a lot. So let's talk about it for a second. Let's talk about things, choices that we make that can either be mindful or unmindful. We want to be mindful when we make decisions. So let's pretend that your teacher today says, we're having chicken nuggets for lunch. You've never had chicken nuggets, but you say, I don't like chicken nuggets. Is that mindful? Nope. You know why? Because you're just automatically saying it. You've never tried chicken nuggets. You don't know what they taste like. You're just saying, I don't like them. So, when we're mindful, we're really thinking about the choices that we make and the decisions that we make. I'm going to give you another example. Let's say you're playing a video game or you're on your iPad and your little brother or sister comes up to you and they take the iPad out of your hand. Well, that's not nice, first of all. But let's say you decide you're going to kick them and you just kick them. Is that a mindful decision or is that an unmindful decision? That would be an unmindful decision, right? We did not think and use our brain before we made that decision. We let our downstairs brain make the decision for us. So we want to practice doing things that are mindful. And when we take our deep breaths and when we count to 10, sometimes that can help us make a mindful decision, okay? So let's practice some more, okay? Let's say that we're in the hallway, because we go in the hallway a lot, don't we? And let's pretend in the hallway somebody decides that they're going to cut in front of us when we're going the way to lunch. And that makes you mad because when you're on the way to lunch, you are hungry, right? So when they cut in front of us on the way to lunch, we decide maybe we'll just triple them. Is that a mindful or an unmindful decision? That would be unmindful. That's a bad decision, right? Could we think of a way to make it mindful? If we stop and we think about it, and really try hard, we could just talk to them about it, right? We could say, hey, that wasn't very nice. You're not supposed to cut, you're supposed to be back there, right? Sometimes it's hard to make mindful decisions. We have to practice our very best. I'm going to give you another example. Let's pretend you have work to do for school. You're virtual learning. How many of you have virtual learning? Ms. Anderson does. Let's say Ms. Anderson's really, really tired, or you're really, really, really tired when you get home. And you think, I don't think I'm going to do my virtual learning right now. I think I'm just going to lay down and maybe then I'll do it later. And you fall asleep. And it's the next morning when you wake up and you haven't done your work. Was that a mindful decision? Did you think about what decision is best? No. So we have to really practice making those mindful decisions. And sometimes it's hard. But we have to really think about our choices and practice that upstairs brain. We can do it. So I want you to practice making mindful decisions this week. Stopping and thinking instead of reacting with our downstairs brain. Can you do that? Have a great week.